Hello everyone, welcome back to Man United Fans Voice. This is Manolis, and Manchester United won, Leicester City won. Another poor performance by United against a team struggling to find form resulted in a fair draw. Although we played against a team that has been poor recently, Leicester looked comfortable throughout the game, and I didn't feel that United controlled or dominated any parts of it. Our main issues were down to the huge gaps we have at centre forward and defensive midfield areas. Two areas that have been needing strengthening for 3 years now, but we still have not solved them. As most of you might know, I am one of the last people who is going to turn against a manager and who is going to blame him. But I also need to be fair. So I am hearing a lot of people say that Ralf Rangnick came with his own style and his own philosophy, and it is completely the players' fault because they weren't able to play better under that philosophy and do what that philosophy requires. Now, I would completely agree with that if Ralf Rangnick came in as a permanent manager and his job would be to build a new team that would be able to play and be more successful under whatever philosophy he thinks is best. But that was not the case. Ralf Rangnick came to United as an interim manager. And like every interim manager, his main job was to try and improve results with these specific players, this specific team. Rangnick came to United as an interim manager, and his task was to improve results with this specific squad. So as an interim manager, you cannot go into a team and say that I am going to play with a philosophy that doesn't complement most of my players. If that's the case, then it is not the player's fault, it is the manager's fault. It is like driving a car into the water and blaming the car for not being able to float. But of course, don't get me wrong. Ralf Rangnick is definitely not Manchester United's main problem. I don't think he is a problem at all. It is not easy for any manager to say no when a club like Manchester United come knocking on your door. Ralf Rangnick was brought to do an impossible job because the board wanted to please the social media and YouTube fan base by sacking another manager who was also trying to do an impossible job. I saw a tweet the other day, and I'm guessing most of you have seen it as well because it has become quite popular. It says something in the lines of Manchester United have appointed a sporting director who is known for his success in long-term projects as an interim manager for 6 months, and they are probably not going to use him as a long-term solution. Unfortunately, that is the reality of what at the moment is Manchester United Football Club, a complete, embarrassing mess. I have also seen some fans now have a go at Elanga, which I think is completely ridiculous. Anthony Elanga has been one of the very few bright elements of this season. I'm not saying that he's going to be an amazing player, we don't know that yet, but young players will be inconsistent. The expectations and the pressure that has been put on his shoulder are just a result of how poor and how disappointing the players that are supposed to carry this team have been. Yes, he had a poor game against Leicester, but pointing the finger towards him is completely unjustified. As we all know, at the moment the favourite to become Manchester United's next manager is 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏. I'm seeing a lot of people say that 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 is the next Pep Guardiola and that he is so good that he can come in and make everything better in a matter of just a few months. Now, of course, all of that is complete nonsense. Even if 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 is the next Guardiola, which no one knows if he is, Guardiola needed a specific plan, a specific strategy put in place in advance in regards to the coaching staff, the scouting system, the direction of the club, in order to eventually become successful at Manchester City. This squad that United have at the moment is very far from being able to play the style of football that Ten Hag wants them to play. It will need a complete rebuild, almost 100% new squad, in order to play successfully the style of football that 𝗟𝗚𝗏 wants his teams to play. If anyone thinks that can happen overnight, you are dreaming. It will be a long and many times painful process. Personally, I don't mind at all 2 or 3 years of pain and misery, if then I will have, as a Manchester United fan, many years of happiness and success. But I worry that a big part of United's fan base does not share the same feelings. I have mentioned this quite a few times in recent weeks, and this is just a personal opinion. But since I believe that now top 4 and Champions League football are no longer a possibility, I would rather United didn't play any European football next season. Instead of having to watch Thursday night football against teams we've never heard before and we probably can't even pronounce their names properly, I would rather we didn't play any European football at all. I understand that some of the Europa League games would offer the manager the chance to play some of the younger players that are not ready yet, but I think that it's better for those younger players to go on loan and play regular football week in, week out, since they are not ready for United yet. And I do agree that the Europa League probably offers a more realistic chance to lift a trophy, and that is very important for the progression of any team. I think it is more important for the next manager to have more training days with his new players. If someone came up to me and asked me, "Manolis, what do you want Manchester United to do?" What I would answer, although I know that a lot of people, especially on social media, hate this type of thinking, what I would answer would be that I want Manchester United to have players that understand the Manchester United DNA. I want whoever wears the Manchester United shirt to understand what that shirt represents. I want whoever wears that shirt to represent me and my values on the pitch. I want players like Paul Pogba to never wear that shirt ever again. And of course, he is not the only one, but he is an emphatic example of what I do not want to see at Manchester United ever again. Things are usually not as good or as bad as they seem to be. And although Manchester United at the moment looks like a complete mess, I honestly don't think it is such an impossible job to make the situation a bit better. What we need is better decision making when it comes to recruiting players. Find the profiles that can represent the manager's philosophy on the pitch, and then find bench players with the same attributes. So when you need to replace one of the first teamers, you can replace him with someone that can do the same job. I know we probably need 10 or maybe even more players in order to start challenging for major titles. But I think we all understand that that is almost impossible to do in 1 or maybe even 2 transfer windows. So for now, I think we do have solutions for some of our problems already in our squad. For example, I think we need a right winger. For now, give a chance to players like Pellistri, Elanga, Ahmad to play in that position and see how good they are. The 2 areas I think we need to sort out immediately are striker and defensive midfielder. If we sort those 2 areas properly, then I do believe that we have a starting 11 that is good enough to build on. Sort those 2 areas out to begin with and find some players for the bench that are similar with the players that you have in your starting 11, and stay fully committed to your initial plan. Because as we have seen this season, if you don't do that, then the whole project can very easily completely collapse. United's next game is an early kickoff on Saturday afternoon against Everton. Like I said before, personally I don't think we have any chance now of getting a top 4 place. So I can't see of any reason why some of the young, talented players that we have, players like 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏, Mesbri, Garnacho, Álvaro Fernandez, couldn't get a few games. I believe we have 8 games until the end of the season, and I do think that the most useful thing that Ralph could do until the end would be to give some of these players a few games. It would give him the chance to see how good and how ready they are. It would give the players the chance to prove themselves, and it would definitely give the fans a motivation for the remaining of the season. To be fair, I don't think that Ralph can do that, and I doubt he will, because his job is to fight for the top 4 place as long as there are mathematical chances, but that is definitely what I would want him to do. Like I said before, I hope United finish 8th, because I think it is better that we are not in Europe at all next season. And that probably sums up my feelings about this season perfectly. Started the season hoping for a title challenge and maybe a trophy, and finishing the season hoping for 8th. I think we can all agree that once the season is over, we will all feel a sense of relief. It's no secret that I always try to stay positive, but the disappointments of this season have broken my positivity. Well, this was a match reaction video that didn't really have a lot of details about this specific game, but I honestly don't see the point on doing that again. I think it's completely pointless to once again talk about the same things we've seen from United almost in every game this season. But I do hope you enjoyed the video anyway. If you did, please remember to press the like button. Please leave me your opinions and your thoughts in the comments below about the game and about what I talked in this video generally. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.